Good evening and welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting of the Mayor and Council of the City of College Park. I'm Mayor Bianca Motley Broom. It is 7:31 p.m. We have a quorum with council members Clay, Taylor, and Allen present, and so I'm calling the meeting to order. Our first item of business is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our next item on the agenda is an invocation by Pastor Dent.
Evening, Madam Mayor, council members, and citizens of College Park. It's good to be here this evening. Let us keep in our prayers those who have suffered loss because of tornadoes that happened over the weekend and today. So let us bow our heads in prayer. Almighty and everlasting Father, we honor your presence in this council meeting. We give thanks to you for the United States and its government and your constant care for our country. We hold up in prayer before you the men and women who are in positions of authority, the president, senators, governors, our mayor, council members, staff, law enforcement officers, firefighters, and all other essential workers. May you grace them with strength, wisdom, and protection from all harm and danger. Pour out your blessings in every area of their lives, because your word declares that blessed is the nation and the people who God is Lord. We pray for divine order and significant progress for this body in dealing with the items on the agenda. Guide their thoughts and actions so that they may have a successful outcome. May the Holy Spirit identify the key issues and bring forth a peaceful resolution. Bless our business community, those who are suffering right now, heal the sick among us, and comfort those who are hurting. Hear our prayer, O Lord, in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Item number 2 is additions, deletions, amendments, or changes to the agenda. Are there any tonight? All right, hearing none. We will move on to, we've got a number of minutes to be approved. Item 3A is minutes from the regular session held on April 19th, 2021.
I move to approve as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilman Taylor. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Councilman Gay with us yet?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. All right, that is unanimous. Thank you, gentlemen. Item 3B from the workshop session, April 19th.
Mayor, I move to approve it with one change, which I think Shavela has already made.
All right. And what is that change?
On line 435 on digital page 39, line 435. Some were successful in varying degrees and some were not. Delete the word we, just a nit.
Yes. Okay. All right. Any other changes? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you, gentlemen.
I'm
Item
sorry,
3.
Mayor.
Do we have a second on that?
Oh, you're right. I apologize. Thank you very much. Thank you. All right. Let's start again. Councilman Clay, you made the motion. Is there a second?
I second.
Thank you, Councilman Allen. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen. All right. Item 3C is a budget session from April 14th.
I move to approve as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilman Taylor. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen. That is
Aye.
unanimous. Item 3D, budget session from April 12th.
Move to approve as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilman Taylor. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen. That is unanimous as well. All right. So we have a number of proclamations, resolutions, plaques, announcements, and I got an updated version of this particular one for Coach Hayes. So I will read that at this time. College Park Proclamation, Coach Gwyn Hayes. Coach Gwyn Hayes started his coaching career with the City of College Park's Recreation and Cultural Arts Department in 1987. His service included countless volunteer hours with the city's sports programs. Whereas in 1992, Coach Hayes was recruited by the Recreation Department to assist with the city's basketball program at the Wayman and Bessie Brady Center. From this union, Coach Hayes and other coaching staff established the girls' travel basketball program. They were soon named the College Park Lady RimRockers. Whereas Coach Hayes began his service over 30 years ago and personally assisted in funding the program to help and encourage youth participation. Under his coaching guidance, the Lady RimRockers competed and dominated in numerous tournaments and leagues over the years. Whereas to date, the College Park Lady RimRockers continue under the coaching guidance of Coach Hayes. Because of his leadership, many players have received athletic scholarships to colleges and universities around the country. Because of his mentorship, those athletes are now esteemed professionals and established leaders in the College Park community. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Mayor and City Council of the City of College Park that Coach Gwyn Hayes is recognized for his dedicated service and leadership to the City of College Park Lady RimRockers, the Department of Recreation and Cultural Arts, and the greater College Park community, proclaimed this third day of May 2021. So is Coach Hayes here with us tonight?
Mayor, we've got Quinn and Benita, his wife, I believe, are on. So can you put on Vanessa Williams, Mike Hicks? I believe she should be in they're sitting up together.
Yes, I moved them over already.
So maybe they might want to just say a quick word. Coach Hayes is actually on the road, so it was difficult for him.
Oh gosh.
Go ahead, Vanessa. Are y'all there?
Yes, Ms. Williams, you can unmute your mic.
Mr. Hicks, can you help her with that?
Yes, I'm trying to help her right now. She dropped off.
All right. Well, while we're doing proclamations, if they come back and are able to speak, we'll make sure we give them an opportunity to do so. The next proclamation is a presentation of a proclamation designating May 16th through 22nd, 2021 as National Public Works Week in the City of College Park. And I'll go ahead and read that one as well. Whereas public works professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, and services that are of vital importance to sustainable and resilient communities and to the public health, high quality of life, and well-being of the people of the City of College Park. And whereas these infrastructure, facilities, and services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of public works professionals who are engineers, managers, and employees at all levels of government and the private sector who are responsible for rebuilding, improving, and protecting our nation's transportation, water supply, water treatment, and solid waste services, public buildings, and other structures and facilities essential for our citizens. And whereas it is in the public interest for the citizens and civic leaders in the City of College Park to gain knowledge of and to maintain an interest in public works and public works programs in their respective communities. And whereas this year marks the 61st annual National Public Works Week sponsored by the American Public Works Association. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Mayor and City Council of the City of College Park, Georgia, do hereby designate the week, May 16th through the 22nd, 2021, as National Public Works Week in the City of College Park, and encourage all citizens to join us in thanking the hardworking men and women who ensure our communities are kept clean, beautiful, and healthy. Proclaim this third day of May 2021. Public works is so vital to a strong, thriving community, and we are grateful every day for the professionals in our public works department. Mr. Myers, did you want to say anything?
I just want to say thanks to our staff for all the hard work that they put in to keep the city running, not only through the water and sewer, the streets, and keeping this city clean.
And did anyone in the body want to add anything?
Are we doing anything for them at all during that week?
Are there any particular activities planned?
I'll be doing something for them. I will send out a notice to the mayor and council.
Let me know if I can help.
Same here.
I will. Thank you.
All right.
I'd just like to say, Mayor, to remind all our residents that a lot of people approach me during the year and brag on our public works services in the city. We are head and shoulders in public works.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. I believe Ms. Williams is ready to speak now in regard to, and I think Coach Hayes is with her. And so I want to give them an opportunity to speak as well.
Okay, Ms. Williams? Ms. Williams?
Mike, do you see Chief on there, like a Chief Nowak?
Yes, I do.
Try to, he might be with,
Okay, as a side note, Ms. Williams is able to speak.
okay.
Let me move Chief over here.
All right. Well, while that's going on, let me go ahead and while you're working on that, we'll move to the next proclamation for Municipal Clerks Week. Getting a little bit of feedback there.
There they are.
Okay, we'll let him go right ahead.
Go ahead.
Coach Hayes,
Hey, how you
can you hear
doing?
us? Doing well. How are you?
I'm doing all right. On behalf of Coach Hayes, he really wanted to be here today, but he had a long trip to take. He wanted to tell everybody that he appreciate y'all for letting him coach and, you know, be a part of the College Park program. Over the years, he's raised a lot of sand, but at the same time, he met a lot of good kids that went on and made very well with themselves. So he just want to let y'all know that he appreciates y'all at the College Park community and tell all the people that played on this team that he loves them and forever, College Park RimRockers.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Ms. Williams? All right, we're going to go ahead to the next proclamation for Municipal Clerks Week. Whereas the office of the municipal clerk, oh, we've got pictures. Yes, this is our entire clerk staff. The office of the municipal clerk, a time-honored and vital part of local government, exists throughout the world. And whereas the office of the municipal clerk is the oldest among public servants, and whereas the office of the municipal clerk provides a professional link between the citizens, the local governing bodies, and agencies of government at other levels, and whereas municipal clerks have pledged to be ever mindful of rendering equal service to all, and whereas the municipal clerk serves as the information center on functions of local government and community, and whereas municipal clerks continually strive to improve the administration of the affairs of the office of the municipal clerk through participation in education programs, seminars, workshops, and the annual meetings of their state, local, county, and international professional organizations. And whereas it is most appropriate that we recognize the accomplishments of the office of the municipal clerk. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the mayor and city council of the city of College Park do hereby recognize the week of May 2nd through 8th, 2021 as Municipal Clerks Week. Be it further proclaimed that the city of College Park extends appreciation to our municipal city clerk, Shavela Moore, and to all municipal clerks for the vital services they perform and their dedication to the communities they represent. Proclaim this third day of May, 2021. We don't function without Ms. Moore. I know that a lot of folks may not understand. They see her on the meetings and they know that she's the backbone of kind of making these meetings run, but she and her team do so much more. And we are certainly grateful to the entire city clerk staff for all that they do to keep our city running. Do anyone else want to add anything?
Just say amen to that.
Thanks for what you do for all of us every single day, each and every one of you.
And a little snippet. We all know that Ms. Moore has gained her certification through the Georgia Municipal Clerks Association, but she's actually working on her international municipal clerk certification as well. So I think that speaks to her dedication to her position and always seeking additional growth and learning opportunities. We're very fortunate to have her.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. And now I'm going to turn over to Dr. Baker to introduce our new employees.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. To introduce you our new employees for the month of March and April. Some of these individuals you may know or have seen around the city. They are rehires from last summer, some of the park rangers. We'll start first with Mr. Brian Freeman, who is our recreation leader, Howard Johnson, a park ranger, James Williams, park ranger, Melvin Sloan, park ranger, Andronika McCaskey, park ranger, Andrew Hood, park ranger, Ronald Kilpatrick, park ranger, and Stashawn Lewis, sanitation driver 2. Welcome.
Absolutely.
Welcome aboard, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you for your service.
Absolutely.
And I'm glad to see Howard back as a park ranger.
Yeah, and I wanted to comment on our park ranger for Phillips Park. The gentleman has been amazing. I've never seen a park ranger with the attitude, and he does everything. So whoever hired him, kudos to them.
All right. We love praise for our city workers.
Hood. Yes.
Absolutely. All right. So we are at the remarks of citizens, and our dynamic and wonderful city clerk, Ms. Moore, the floor is yours.
Good evening, everyone. The first comment comes from Susan C. Hyde, and it reads, I want to commend Councilman Gay for his service as a member of the City of College Park City Council. He checks in on his constituents and shows how much he really cares about them. Yesterday, he checked in on one of his senior folks and asked if she needed anything. She thanked him and she said all was well. I asked him if he could check the pilot light on her hot water heater as her hot water heater was out. Sure enough, Councilman Gay came in and found the pilot light was out. He quickly got it lit and was so nice about it. I can't thank him enough for helping out Miss Daisy, 88 years old, and going beyond his duties for her. She said she voted for him, and I see why. Thanks again, Councilman Gay. Sincerely, Susan C. Hyde, Home Health Aide. Sorry about that. The next comment is from Sarah Howard, and it reads, Mayor and Council, as a resident of historic College Park and a prospective business owner impacted by these restrictive licensing requirements, I vehemently support review of our own on-site consumption ordinances. We simply can't compete with our neighboring towns if we don't adapt to the innovative ideas in consumer spending, particularly with shift generational demographics in our area. East Point and Hateville liquor licensing is friendlier to small businesses who wish to have alcohol sales and an ancillary component to their business model. As examples, my daughter and I own Dog World Atlanta LLC and are unable to lease available space in College Park for our indoor-outdoor dog park, daycare, and bar because the city will not grant liquor licensing outside of the restaurant and convenience store model. Additionally, we found that our own consumer spending is frequently in Hateville, where you can have a typical restaurant experience, but also walk to Arches or even enjoy a drink in Arts Alley at Beer Girl. You can grab a cupcake for fresh flowers cut and do yoga all within walking distance of one another. There has been discussion for years about growth and progression in our city, so I urge our elected officials to continue engaging with our constituents and have an open mind about partnering with businesses that bring diversity of thought and style. I hope the mayor and council will seriously consider moving intentionally to adopt fresh policies that encourage contemporary business growth in our city, particularly in our downtown area. Updating the liquor licensing ordinance is a great start. Respectfully, Sarah Howard, 3349 Harris Drive, College Park, Georgia. Okay, and our next comment is from Kathleen McQueen, and it reads, good evening, Mayor Bianca Motley Broom and council members. I'm Kathleen McQueen, residing at 1965 Lyle Avenue. As a citizen of historic College Park and a resident who takes pride in her community, I would like to address a concern over one of our city councilmen's comments made at the April 5th, 2021 city council meeting. It is a great disappointment that I have to address the comments of Councilman Ambrose Clay regarding Badgett Stadium basketball courts. Councilman Clay, there is a saying, one's perception is one's own truth. Your comments clearly reflect a perception that young Black males are prone to inappropriate or criminal behavior. The statements you made that access to the basketball courts is limited to ages 16 and under to prevent drug activity and aggressive behavior was offensive, distasteful, and discriminating. To assume that young men, specifically Black men over 16, would engage in drug activity and criminal behavior is a blatant attack and is unacceptable, especially from a community leader that people look to bridge the gap and bring our community together, not discriminate and tear it apart. In the current environment, this country finally has an awareness of the stress Black parents or parents with Black children have on knowing that as soon as their sons turn puberty age, they are considered a threat. They have to deal with the fact that their sons are no longer seen as kids who enjoy basketball with their friends. Think about it, Councilman Clay. Our neighbors with Black kids over 16 have to tell them they can't play on the Hawks court because Councilman Clay and the former mayor and council believe that they may attract drug dealing or criminal activity. Councilman Clay, it was disturbing to hear you state you did not call the police to remove players off the court because it is closed on Sundays. The comment implies that you contemplated calling the police on these young Black boys for enjoying normal activities on a Sunday afternoon. Your comment stimulated so many questions. As a community leader, did it ever occur to you to stop and engage the young players? Did you see the young basketball players as neighbors, or did you assume these young Black men are not residents of Ward 1 or College Park? What evidence do you, what evidence do you have to support your assumption that a group of young Black males over 16 on the basketball court are prone to criminal activity? Councilman Clay, there was a huge opportunity missed for historic College Park. Instead of voicing your opinion, you missed an opportunity to open up a conversation about diversity and inclusion, an opportunity to introduce the possibilities of summer interns, junior basketball coaches, and teams keeping young children off the streets, and the opportunity to recruit city ambassadors and junior cadets. This is what can be gained from the Badgett Stadium basketball court, not a fear of drugs and criminal activity. Councilman Clay, I have a great deal of respect for you, and I hope that there's an opportunity for you to have an open dialogue on the best inclusive solution to fully, and that's time for that comment, and I have no further comments, Mayor.
Thank you, Ms. Moore. All right, so we have an opportunity for those who did not sign up to have 1 minute to speak. If you are online, you can click the raise hand button if you wish to use that 1 minute. Mr. Hicks, help me out if you see anyone raising their hand.
Looking right now, Madam Mayor, no one thus far.
All right. Okay. All right, we will move forward. Item 6A is consideration of an action on a request from the Greta Lupus Foundation to hold a lupus awareness walk and gathering on Saturday, June 12th from 8 to 3 in front of the College Park Gymnasium. Ms. Moore, are you heading this one up again?
And Mr. Hicks, do you see Mr. Christopher Bryant or Greta Lewis on the call?
Yes, I do. I'll move them over.
Okay. So this special event was on the last council agenda and was brought back to this council meeting because it did not have a special events permit application. But Mr. Bryan or Ms. Lewis, they are online to answer any questions regarding the event.
All right. Are there any questions from the body?
Mayor, I had some concern simply because there was information missing from the packet. And there was some inconsistent information in the packet with regard to the route. The route wasn't specified. Last year, it included parts of East Point as well as College Park. Somewhere in there, it said, well, this year it was all going to be in College Park. That's all been clarified now. The route is apparently pretty much the same from what I could see as what it was last year. And I got my earlier question answered as to whether there would be any cost to the city, and there's no anticipated cost to the city. So as far as I'm concerned, all the discrepancies have been cleared up, and I will move to approve unless someone else has an objection.
All right. I'll see if there's a second on that, and then we'll see if there's any further discussion. Is there a second on Councilman Clay's motion?
Second.
Thank you, Councilman Gay. Any further discussion or any questions? All right. Hearing no further discussion or questions, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Well, gentlemen, that sounds unanimous. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ms. Lewis. Have a great evening.
Thank you.
All right, item 6B is consideration of an action on a request by College Park Rec and Cultural Arts Department in partnership with the Marquis Grissom Baseball Association for a food truck at Richard D. Zupp Park on May 15th for a fun day for the baseball players and families in the park.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Mike, can you put Marquis Grissom, Sharon Grissom, and Trindle Stroud on? So we're going to have a baseball fun day out at Zupp Park on May 15th. And so there is a request for some food trucks for the families and the participants in the baseball program, along with some jumpies. So just an overall great day out in the park with a request with Marquis Grissom. And I wanted to get an opportunity to introduce him and how we've organized this group together and have a fun day out in the park. And hopefully we'll have police and fire out there to enjoy and just show some presents for the kids. Along with hopefully mayor and council if they want to come out. So I wanted to introduce Marquis Grissom. I'm sure he would like to say a word to y'all.
Mr. Grissom, can you hear us?
I sent him a message to unmute.
Yeah, can you guys?
All right. Mr. Grissom, I think your connection's a little.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hey, hello, everyone.
Hi, how are you?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear you. It sounds like there might be some issues on your end.
It's good to be here. I appreciate everybody. Appreciate you guys inviting us, mayor and council. We're excited to be part of College Park, given the opportunity to promote baseball in the area and in the community. I feel like I'm a product of College Park, went to Lakeshore High School right there in College Park, played at Welcome All, grew up in Red Oak, Georgia, for you guys who don't know. And that's my neck of the woods. So long story short, we've been in this baseball arena now for the last 15 years. I've enjoyed my opportunity to get a chance to come back and serve the community, especially here in College Park and Welcome All, where it all started for me. And I think we have a magnificent program, which we do a little bit more than just baseball. We focus on math and language arts, SAT and SAT prep. We have a financial literacy program, which we're trying to promote through the program. And of course, our tutorial program, which takes place right there at the stadium, at the gym. So we're proud to have a family fun day out at the park. We have over 50 kids sign up right there in College Park, 4 through 12-year-old. And I think that number is going to increase as we continue to go forward and bring baseball back to College Park. We're excited as an organization. We got a great group of guys, great staff, and we're looking forward to partnering with you guys and bringing baseball to College Park and making it exciting for the kids in the neighborhood.
Fantastic. Thank you, sir. Any questions from the body about the event?
I just think it was great. I'm going to jump in. I thought it was great to see the kids out there running around on the field the other day, and they were so excited, and the joy of the program. I moved to approve the recreation program.
Okay, Councilman Gay, I know you have. Okay, thank you, Councilman Clay. Hold on one second. I've got a motion. I've got a second, and I know that Councilman Gay had comment or a question.
No, I just had a question. My son played for College Park baseball, but there was no opportunity after 12 or 13. Is there any opportunity for those age groups to play in College Park?
There is. We do have a travel ball organization which caters to 13 through 18, and also the college level kids. And we'll be sending that out going forward as we continue to finish up with rec ball. So every kid will have an opportunity to really play baseball at College Park, the age 4 through 18.
All right, that's great news. The jumpers, are we talking about bounce houses or like, okay.
Correct. Yes, ma'am. We've done them for our summer day camp out there before. So, you know, we've done that process before out there.
All right. How big are these bounce houses? Are they big enough for me to get in a bounce house?
Okay.
Absolutely.
I got to get on the wall.
All right. All right. Oh yeah, that's right. I have to get on the wall first. Okay. We've got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. That was 4 ayes. Thank you, gentlemen. That's unanimous. Appreciate your commitment to our community, Mr. Grissom, and look forward to the event.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. Item 6C is a COVID-19 update. I believe that would be our fantastic fire chief and Dr. Baker or Chief Elmore. Which one of you is taking this?
It's actually Dr. Baker tonight, Mayor.
Okay. Well, you know what? You're just as fabulous.
And well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I have the numbers have changed slightly since the report that you have before you. We have 2 cases of COVID our workforce, 2 positive cases.
Okay.
And that concludes my report.
Any questions for Dr. Baker?
Glad to hear it going down.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
That is good. All right. Appreciate your efforts, Dr. Baker. Thank you so much for keeping us informed.
You know, we might want to remind everyone, Mayor, of the event that's coming up at the auditorium
Yes.
on Friday and Saturday for
Chief
vaccinations.
Elmore? Chief Elmore? We're putting you on the spot there a little bit.
Yeah, good evening, Mayor and Council. This Friday and Saturday, May 7th and 8th, we are having College Park Day for all the residents and citizens of College Park to come out at the auditorium and get their vaccinations. And we're looking forward to it. You could go right on site. I don't have you kind of put me on the spot, but on the flyer,
I apologize, Chief.
There is a registration that you can scan with your phone, and they will register you, and you could go right there and get your vaccination. And if I'm not mistaken, I think it's the 28th and 29th of this month, you could go back and get your second second dose of your shots. So we're looking forward to that this weekend.
And is that the Pfizer vaccine?
That is the Pfizer vaccine, yes.
Okay. All right. Any other questions for Dr. Baker and or Chief Elmore in regard to the COVID update?
I have a question.
Yes, Councilman Taylor, go right ahead.
What about people that can't make it to get a COVID test? Do we have any kind of transportation for people, anything like that?
We haven't worked out anything with as far as transportation, but I'm also in having conversations with CORE and Fulton County Board of Health. They have some mobile units, and we're going to see if for the people who are not able to make it, we'll see if we could get some of those mobile units to come out to the city and provide the vaccines.
I was just going to add on that because it was part of the conversation that we had. The first Friday of the month, we have a joint meeting between the Fulton County mayors and the Board of Commissioners. And I had asked for us to get some mobile units. And certainly as supply becomes more available, you're seeing at Mercedes-Benz, they're not requiring an appointment now. They're really looking to do more outreach. So those mobile units, I think, will be a larger component of how we get people vaccinated in the upcoming weeks and months. And so we've got another meeting on Friday, and I will continue to hammer that point home that we would love to see the mobile units on this side of town, because I know that they've gone on the north side. So we'd love to see them down here as well, because certainly we have done a lot of vaccinations on this side of town, but we haven't reached everybody. In fact, we have done over 50,000 vaccinations at the GICC, which is just, I mean, when you think about how we as a city have stepped up for this entire region and provided this service and provided the venue to make that happen, I think it's a real testament to the level of coordination on city level from Chief Elmore, Andrea Smalls, all of the folks who have worked diligently to make that happen on our end, and the collaboration with the county, Board of Health, and other folks. It's been a real win for the community. So I'll get off my vaccination soapbox there, but I think it's a good story to tell for our community. All right. Anything else to add on that point? Hearing nothing, we're going to move forward. Item 6D. Thank you, Chief. Update on the AMI billing interface. Mr. Richardson, good to see you this evening.
Yeah, good evening, Mayor and Council. This is a pretty quick update on our communications of our advanced meter system, and the access points are still working well. If you look at the totals in the last 5 months, we've had about 150 meters. And of course, we all know in the next 2 or 3 years, we have a potential to add another 1,000. So the good news is each of these access points will handle up to 20,000 meters. So we're good there. It's also interesting to see these numbers as they move around after a power outage. It's like they're trying to find their home base, but after a couple of days, they straighten out. Our endpoint replacement will be delayed until late June or early July because of microchip availability. The shipment date is now June 17th. However, we cannot wait to replace these because the new ones deliver 2 readings per day, which will increase reliability and reduce our field rereads. We have 109 of those already installed. We got 2,900 to go. So we're looking forward to that. Chevelle, if you go, I guess, over to the next slide, the last slide. And then this is updates about our using our technology. 9 customers are contacted about water leaks with our endpoints. And in a few months, I'll be coming to you about a outage management system, which will be using our electric meter technology. And we look forward to having that system in place, which is in our budget. And our last item is our kilowatt hour sales different from the pandemic. You have the 2 columns, all customers and all customers without the data center, and you're comparing the same month of the previous year. And April is looking great. If you look at the right column without the data center, it shows a plus 19.9 compared to April last year was minus 17.1. It almost is saying we've recovered. Of course, we know we haven't, but it's at least it's still showing positive. So I'll keep showing this comparison until it looks like we're pretty much positive in the good every month. And that's it.
Thank you. Mr. Richardson, are you still seeing steady increases in the commercial accounts?
Yeah, that it's picking up a little bit. I've actually gone to several hotels to compare what they're using now as compared to maybe the same time last year. They're still, of course, not at 100%.
Right.
And they're probably more like 50% or better, but that's about it. So yeah, that's picking up slowly.
Okay. And on that outage information, I think I've got the terminology wrong. You were saying that we're going to be addressing it in a couple of months.
The outage management system.
System.
It's a software system that pretty much takes when our electric meters go out, it records that data and also plots them on a map so our citizens can see what are out, and it'll give everybody a better update on what's going on.
That's what I was hoping, that it was going to be a better outcome for our residents and our customers overall, that they're going to have a better understanding of where the outages are. And so will that information ideally be on our website or available?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So they'll just be able to take a look at that and say, all right, they already know. I guess they can look on their phones because.
Yeah, hopefully maybe that an app or something or whatever. Okay. We'll look at the several different systems out there and compare them all. But they have got to be it has to be the system that uses our data from our meter. We don't want a system where you got to sit down like somebody input the data.
Oh, certainly not. Sure. Absolutely. Any other questions for Mr. Richardson?
I just had one other question, and that is for some time, we've been looking at putting automatic, or not automatic, but remote reconfiguration of the network to isolate areas where you have say a wire down broken by a tree or something, and reroute the power to the rest of the people that it could have, that are okay, except for this major feed coming to them. So, so far we haven't been able to really do that. But isn't it true that once we have this precise mapping, that we can visibly know where the circuits are impacted? If we had that remote configuration in place, we could actually literally observe the map, figure out where the break was, and bring the power back. Am I right on that?
That's true. But the system you're talking about is called distribution automation, and it is automatic. I guess there are some override features on it, but so like I said, it'll isolate the outage and restore power to those that are not affected. You can even get it to refeed between substations. For example, you remember last year when the transmission line went out.
Right.
All of our stations out, but Willingham. So we can have it where Willingham would pick up as much as it can if we have it configured that way.
So a lot of good things coming once we can get back on good budget footing.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Any other questions for Mr. Richardson?
Just a quick power question. How did we do with the winds and the storms today? Are we all right?
I actually think there's only one individual outage today. That's the only one I saw.
Wow.
We actually went to his house, and it was a breaker on his side, so we just reset it while we were there.
Oh, wow. Great.
We got lucky. Got lucky.
Absolutely. I know South Fulton was hit pretty hard, and I know that we sent assistance to them, and they were deeply appreciative of that. So, all righty. Any other questions for Mr. Richardson? Hearing none, we'll move on. Delinquent property taxpayers update. Any questions in regard to that information? Hearing none. Any questions on the utility customer accounts? All right. We'll move on to 6G, College Park Utility Assistance Grant Program update. Ms. Fuller Bradley, can you give us a brief update?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. No new update. We're just, the program is moving along. For those that do not know, that phase 2 is now open up until May 21st of this month. So if you have not done so, please get your applications in, and we are meeting with customers. We have about 10 scheduled meetings with customers. So if you have not submitted your application, please do so as soon as possible. Thank you.
Ms. Fleur Bradley, you're getting good a good rate of applications on the second round?
Well, not as much as the first round. Right now, when someone submits the application, we give them a call and set an appointment with them. So we're scheduling about 10 appointments a week. So, and we're also doing disconnections. We're identifying customers that haven't submitted in a grant application, and we're encouraging them to submit the grant application so we can assist them. But it's not as busy as it was when we initially rolled the program out.
All right. Any other questions for Ms. Fleur Bradley? Hearing none, we'll move on to public hearings. Item 7A is consideration of an action on a request to set a public hearing to consider a request for a conditional use permit at 1930 Harvard Avenue. Just setting the public hearing here, so no substantive discussion necessary on the actual plan. But
I'll move to approve
Okay.
the setting of the hearing. Nikki,
Okay.
what's the date?
We're recommending May 17th, our next meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
Is there a second for setting the public hearing on May 17th?
Second.
Thank you, Councilman Taylor. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? It passes unanimously. Thank you, gentlemen. Item 7B is a public hearing to review the final development plan for 5391 West Fayetteville Road. The city planner recommends approval of the final development plan. Ms. Washington, I believe you're doing the heavy lifting on this evening.
I am. Yes, good evening, everyone. So if we remember, this actually originally came to you in February 2020. It was the annexation and rezoning of this property. It's a pretty big property. It's about 40 acres. And we went through that process. And then in October, they came before you and asked for 6 more months. Due to COVID, they had some things getting held up. Josh is on the call also. He's representing this application. He informed me last week that they did get their approval for their state funding as well. So they're ready to get moving. As far as this final development plan they're presenting, it does meet all of those original requirements and also the conditions that we originally placed on this.
All right. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, just one more thing. It is a couple fewer units. Originally, it was, tell everybody here, originally proposed was 1,500 square feet of commercial space. 15,000 square feet of commercial space, 410 apartments and 15 townhomes. So after they did the plan, what we're coming up with now is 404 multifamily units, still have the 15 townhomes, and it's actually approximately 17,000 square feet of retail and commercial space. So very, very similar, and also a very similar mix. It's the same mix that 25% 1 bedrooms, 50% 2 bedrooms, 25% 3 bedrooms. Those were the main questions we had from Planning Commission as far as they're concerned. So just wanted to highlight that for everybody. And Josh is on the call if you guys have any questions for him.
All right.
One question.
Wait, hold on 1 second. Okay. All right. Councilman Gay.
I have a question for Ms. Washington. Ms. Washington, who is the engineer that'll sign off on this final plan?
So for the city?
Yes.
You mean for the city, it's going to be Pond Engineering has the contract. Jackson has worked that out with them, so they will do the LDP review for this. So they're not quite there yet. I would say they'll probably be ready to submit for that in the next couple weeks, and we'll send that review over to Pond, and they'll get it done for us.
All right, Councilman Allen.
I just had a couple of questions. I know initially they talked about a walking trail or sidewalk to the school that was nearby, and if they were going to work with the school. I didn't know if they had had a chance to talk with the school about the possibility of having that trail so the kids would not have to get out on the front sidewalks.
Mr.
I
Marks?
believe, yeah, I'll let, I was going to say, I think that they did try to contact the school. The school wasn't too hip on having it on their property, but they are going to provide it on the apartment, on the complex property, on the mixed use property. Josh, I'll let you speak to that also.
It's great to see everybody. Thanks for taking time to get this in front of you. Can't believe it's been such a long journey that we've been on this together. It seems like it's been a wild year. So as Ms. Washington mentioned, we did communicate some with the school and potentially even donating some land to them or working together, but really they didn't have a ton of interest on that. I don't foresee us being able to, just because of where the development is happening and how it's being phased. I don't foresee us being able to connect to the school property kind of north, below, or west of like where the existing sidewalk is. We make sure that streetscape and landscape is nice, and that's probably just honestly for the protection as well of the community. Just being able to kind of limit access to the front portion of the property is probably big.
I'm going to assume that last word was better. You got, or
Is best, I'm sorry.
best. Okay. There was a little bit of a lag there. Councilman Allen, you said you had a couple of questions.
Yeah, the other one, you know, when you have a 3-story, you know, apartment, you're gonna need to get a ladder truck back in there. We need to make sure that besides the parking, we should be able to make sure we get our ladder trucks back there with the right width. So I'm sure the fire department and the fire marshal has had a chance to look at all the drawings. I just want to make sure that there's no problems getting those ladder trucks back there in case there is a need for them.
Absolutely. We actually had a call with Miss Washington and 2 folks from the fire marshal's office within the city pretty early on to make sure that we were meeting all of those requirements. We did amend the plan slightly to ensure that we could have full access back there. And as Ms. Washington mentioned, we'll go through the land disturbance permit process and the full building permit process where there will be a fire review, and all of that will be, nothing will be permitted without all of that being complied with. But as mentioned before, we wanted to get out in front of it and had a preliminary call with them to make sure that we were complying.
Great. One more question. When I go to some of these apartments, I see the trash and the dumpsters overflowing, and it causes me concern. So I just want to make sure we have plenty of dumpsters around the facility. I saw one area for trash. I'm sure you're going to have a lot more dumpsters than that one area.
Sure, we typically do have one area for dumpsters, but our engineers provide calculations for how much trash we need in order to, what our dumpster load needs to be in order to accommodate for the full community. So we will definitely make sure that it's sufficient and, that gets picked up weekly, and that we're, property management team is taking care of ensuring that it is not becoming that eyesore that you mentioned.
So all 400 units are going to have to go to the one trash location to dump their trash?
I don't want to speak out of turn. Well, I think that that's preliminary to the plan. But if we get feedback from the city that that's not sufficient for the needs of the community, then we will reevaluate.
Okay.
Mr. Marks,
something we want to take a look at.
Was that any other questions, Councilman Allen?
No, that's it. Thank you.
All right. Mr. Marks, can you refresh my recollection about the future aspects and when they'll be phased in?
Sure. So the second phase of the multifamily are likely going to be, a year to 2 years out, likely. Part of that, and part of my trepidation to speak confidently about it, is there's been a massive increase of demand for federal and state resources that we've been able to get on this development. And the state has not provided guidance for when those are going to be readily available in the future. So we will want to, build the development and make sure that we provide proof of concept on the apartment component, and demonstrate active leasing activity, and then complete the second portion of the development. So be a couple of years out. On the townhome component, we have a developer that we are working with that is going to do the townhomes. We're going to provide the grading and help get the site pad ready. And so our hope would be that after we close, later, probably early fall, when we're going to be able to close late summer, early fall, that they would be able to come right behind us to complete the townhome component. And so they're really excited about it. They want to get going as quickly as possible. They do a good bit of work all throughout the city of Atlanta and Metro Atlanta, so they're very excited about it. And then we will really start to market that front portion, the front commercial space, really kind of after we get going on the construction. So that'll probably begin marketing, later this fall, once we show that we're under construction and end users can kind of look and see that there's more homes that are popping up and have greater interest on that front piece. So all that to say, the townhomes that'll happen quickly, very closely behind the first units. The second phase will happen, maybe a couple of years down the road, when we've been able to, get the development built and then start leasing up and showing some positive activity. And then hopefully we'll get started on that second phase.
All right. Any other questions for Mr. Marks?
Yes, I had.
Okay, Councilman Clay. And I think I heard Councilman Taylor asking, wanted to ask some questions as well. So we'll start with you and go for it.
I just had a quickie. Just to piggyback on what Councilman Allen said, not only do we need to get fire trucks into that area, but there should be sufficient room for them to turn around so that they do not have to back out. Because if you've got to, for some logistical reason, if you need to bring additional resources into the area and you have to send a truck out, for example, to get a refill on water, if for some reason the hydrant isn't working or what have you, you need to be able to get in and out quickly. The second thing is I sent a heads up to Nikki, and there were 2 nits that were in the agreement on digital page or packet page 161 and on section 3 and 4, and the word trail was spelled trial. And I believe Nikki has made those changes. Is that correct, Nikki?
Yes.
Okay, so the document is slightly different, but it's just a nit.
Yes, and also Councilman Clay, to speak to your fire concern, that they will be able to, they actually changed the design slightly, so it will create that loop. So they'll be able to get back out.
Good, thank you.
All right, Councilman Taylor?
Yes, I wanted to know what's the price point for the townhomes?
Townhomes will likely be, marketed at mid to high 2s to start.
Okay.
And that's just market driven. It's incredibly expensive to build anything right now.
Any other questions?
Have you guys had an opportunity to talk more with the Clayton County School with regard to any overcrowdedness once this development is built out?
We have not had more conversations with the school system as of now.
I recommend that you keep them part of the conversations.
Very good point.
Absolutely. All right. Any other questions? All right. Hearing none from the body. Ms. Moore, can you let people know how they can get the opportunity to log into this public hearing and state their opinions about this project?
Yes, ma'am. If you go to collegeparkga.com, you can click on government and then scroll down to council meetings, click on that. And about in the middle of the page, you'll see a little section there for public hearings. And the link is posted. Click on the link and Mr. Hicks will let you in. Raise your hand once you get in the Zoom meeting and you will be acknowledged.
All righty. So at this time, I will declare the public hearing open. So if you wish to speak, please go ahead and click that raise hand button.
And I'm looking, Mayor and Council, right now.
Give it a few more minutes here because sometimes it takes some time to log in and do all those things to get in. So I want to make sure we give everybody an opportunity if they wish to speak. Mr. Marks, can you tell us a little bit about the retail that you envision in that space?
Sure. It could definitely be a kind of small coffee shop. We've done small restaurants in commercial space. We're in talks at one property of doing kind of a bike shop repair area with a little cafe. So it would be targeted towards a small local business. We would like to be able to keep the rental rates low. So we would love for it to be an opportunity to have, a community feel, community entrepreneur to be able to come into that space.
All right. Mr. Hicks, are you seeing anyone?
No, ma'am, not yet. No one has raised their hand.
All right, I'm going to give about 20 more seconds. Any other questions from council? All right. Hearing none, I'm going to declare the public hearing closed. At this time, is there a motion from the body?
Move to approve.
Is there a second? Thank you, Councilman Clay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? It passes unanimously. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you all. I appreciate your consideration. We're really excited to work on this with you all.
Thank you, Mr. Marks. Appreciate you being here tonight. All right, item 8A is consideration of an action on a request for approval of the emergency repair of an existing sanitary sewer line and adjacent manhole located on Jesse A. Dent Jr. Drive in Ward 4. Any questions for Mr. Myers on this issue?
I move to approve.
Okay, is there a second?
I second. I had a quick question.
All right, thank you, Councilman Allen. Go ahead, Councilman Allen, and then Councilman Gay, you're next.
I just didn't know when they would be starting. Do you have an idea what the start time is?
Oh, they've completed it.
Oh, okay. That's fine. Okay.
All right, Councilman Gay.
I was just curious, is this the sewer line that I recommend to be upgraded for the Rockland homes? I'm not aware of anything else.
Yes, you talked about that a couple years ago with Public Works.
That's that long pipe that the trestles was broken in the cul-de-sac? You've already fixed it?
Yes, sir.
Man.
All right, any other questions? Hearing none, I think we had a motion. There was, Ms. Moore, forgive me. I had a motion in a second, correct? Yes, Councilman Allen did the second on that.
Yes,
okay.
ma'am.
All right, thank you. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, that was unanimous. Thank you, gentlemen. Item 8B is consideration of an action on a request for approval of employee benefits renewal for 2021 benefits plan year and authorization for the city manager to execute carrier and vendor partnership documents. Dr. Baker, I believe that you'll be doing the heavy lifting on this one, correct?
Absolutely, and we did an employee survey, and employees expressed some dissatisfaction with the current healthcare benefits and the costs. And our new broker NFP conducted a complete renewal and marketing analysis to evaluate all viable carriers and funding options to yield savings and enhance healthcare options. So I'm going to turn it over to Tammy Starkey with NFP, and I think she has a presentation as well.
Thank you, Dr. Baker. And I can talk through the presentation. The first piece of our overview for the benefits renewals was based off of our contract, and the compensation model for NFP that goes into effect June 1st is to remove all commissions from the plans. And so with that, we were able to remove $220,000 of commissions that were built in and being paid to the consultant. So those will end as of June 1st based on our new contract. Our fee for all consulting and benefit administration will be $80,000. So that will include our services of marketing, negotiating the benefits, of providing an online enrollment platform, maintaining eligibility for open enrollment, new hires, terminations throughout the year, providing a call center for employees and the advocacy to navigate their benefits and resolve any claims issues and assist them in the overall benefit process. So annual savings by just that first step of removing the commissions was $140,000 annually. For the renewal and marketing results, so as Dr. Baker indicated, we did complete a full market review, including reviewing self-funded and fully insured proposals. We looked at plan designs, rate, network availability, and service. This slide overviews the results of that marketing analysis. Kaiser's renewal was a 5% savings over current cost, which is about $195,000 in annual premium. Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield was about 0.5% above current cost at a $19,000 increase. And then Humana was a savings overall of a little over 15% compared to current cost, or approximately $589,000. We did also request proposals from Aetna, Cigna, and United Healthcare, who all declined to quote because they were uncompetitive with that Kaiser renewal at a 5% savings.
Ms. Starkey, may I ask you a question in regard to those numbers? That Kaiser renewal of 5% less, was that in addition to the commission savings, or was that overall?
But that's overall, that includes the removal of the commission, and most
Understood.
of your commissions were in that medical plan with Kaiser.
Understood. Thank you.
Absolutely. So each of these proposals are for a July 1st effective date. Your current renewal on your benefit plans is June 1st, but it was evaluated to change the renewal dates to July 1st to align with your fiscal year and for budgeting purposes. So these proposals are for July 1st. That would mean that Kaiser would renew for the month of June with the discounted premium amounts. So the next slide does show that plan comparison of our current Kaiser plans and premium to the Humana plans that are being recommended. So the Humana plans would include an HMO, which would be the base type plan, and then a POS plan that would be the buy-up. The networks are very similar. There's only a few employees that live more towards like Meriwether County. There's some in Carroll County, and that could be retirees as well, that are really impacted by the difference in the overall network. So in College Park, in Metro Atlanta, the networks are very similar in availability and the doctors and hospitals that participate. So you'll see here that we've highlighted just a few benefit changes between Kaiser and Humana. Overall, the benefits are a very good match. Humana, you'll see that the specialist office visit copay is just a little bit higher than the PPO plan. The urgent care is lower, and then there's a few changes on prescription drugs, but overall, a very close match to the current plans with Kaiser, and then a much expanded network availability. Down here on the red line, you'll see that this does include a premium holiday where Humana will not charge the first month premium based off of our enrollment. And so we're crediting this as based off of your current participation, and that leads to an overall savings of $589,000 annually with Humana. The next slide, you'll see the Humana network availability. Does include all major hospital systems, including Wellstar, Grady, Emory, Piedmont, and Children's Healthcare. We also looked at specific provider access for all employees based off of their home address. And so we did confirm that all employees have sufficient access to primary care physicians, pediatricians, OBGYNs, and hospitals from their home address. And you'll see here what metric was used to determine it was sufficient. And then we've also included the average distance to those providers. Humana is offering a competitive renewal rate cap based off of our claims experience or the loss ratio. So this will start out at, if we have a loss ratio below 75%, the increase would be 0, and it goes all the way to 115% loss ratio, which would be 35%. So currently, City of College Park, when we exclude some of our shock claims that are very high cost claims that are not ongoing, sits at about an 87% loss ratio. So the goal with this is to ensure that Humana is not coming in with an undercut rate just to buy your business year one, that they are going to provide a very competitive and fair renewal at the next renewal in July of 2022. We're also able to secure renewal discounts on the health plan based off of participation in their wellness program. So I'll talk a little bit about the wellness program, but as we have employees participate, then there are percentage discounts off of your overall renewal. The next slide does go into that Humana wellness program. So this is included in the premiums that we've stated and with that savings. And this is called Humana Go 365. So this gives employees and their dependents that participate on the health plan the opportunity to earn points with the wellness program, and that those points transition into dollars that they're able to spend within the Go 365 mall. So they can transfer that to gift cards with Amazon, Best Buy, Walmart, Target, Lowe's. So a lot of retailers. They can also use it for merchandise with retailers like Garmin, Fitbit, Nike, and they can also use it to donate to different charities. So a lot of incentives here built into this program, and you can earn points through your activity, so your steps per day, your heart rate, the calories that you burn, and even your regular screening. So if you're going to get your mammograms, colorectal screenings, your dental cleanings or vision exams, all of those add to your points and participation in the program. And so again, the city also benefits in this, that we're looking to improve the health of the overall population by having them complete those assessments and identify their overall health status, and also to increase their activity and their healthy behaviors. And then once we see those results, that can result in lower claims on the plan, but it also will provide that reduced renewal possibility based off of overall participation for the employees. And then on slide 9 is the ancillary coverage currently with Cigna. All of these benefits are seeing a reduction in cost, and so we're recommending no change here. We did complete a full marketing analysis on each of these benefits, but Cigna remained the most competitive option for benefit and price. So the dental plans will decrease by 13%, vision will decrease by 14%, basic life that the city pays for by 11.8%. Voluntary term life that the employees pay for is 17% reduction. Short-term disability, 21.8% reduction. And long-term disability reduces by 11.9%. And then with supplemental benefits, we are recommending to offer AFLAC group plans that provide enhanced coverage and lower premiums than the current individual policies that the employees have available. And so with this, we'll have enrollment counselors that are well-versed in these benefits and the difference in the current individual plans versus the group plans, so they can assist employees in comparing those, the benefit, the premium, and making a decision on which is best for them. Employees will be able to continue the individual policies through their payroll deductions if they choose. So this will include accident coverage, critical illness, which does cover cancer, and then hospital indemnity, which covers inpatient hospitalization. The plans for open enrollment will be held June 1st through June 4th for the July 1st effective date. We will have on-site and recorded or virtual educational meetings available. And then employees will be able to enroll online with an enrollment counselor on site or over the phone with our service center. And that concludes my presentation.
All right. Ms. Starkey, I will say that I was a little concerned about the window. It seems like a short window for a big change.
Right. And technically employees have, through that month to make changes. So that June 1st through June 4th will really just be the primary education and assistance opportunities for them to enroll. And then we can work with HR if there's any need outside of that.
Okay. All right. Are there questions from the body for Ms. Starkey or Dr. Baker?
Yes, Mayor, I had a question.
All right.
I asked this in a heads up, and apparently my question wasn't understood, so I'm asking it again. The holiday, the Humana month premium holiday. that only applies for the first year. So if all things are equal, if our loss coverage does not dictate a rate increase or anything of the kind, so the rate cap stays in place, everything is the same, how much is that 1 month holiday premium worth? Because that will automatically increase the cost in the second year, regardless of our loss structure. Can you tell me what that premium holiday is worth?
Yes, it's worth approximately $290,000.
Okay, so effectively there is a $290,000 increase in the second year. Not that I'm complaining about it. I think you guys have done a fantastic job, but just so everybody understands, the city will automatically be paying $290,000 more in the second year, even if our loss coverage is great. True.
Ms. Starkey, is that true?
Yeah, so you're right. If everything stayed exactly the same and premiums did not change and the renewal was 0%, it was flat, then we would pay a full 12 months of premium, which is going to be that increase over what we would pay for this year. Our hopes are that with this comprehensive wellness program and really helping the population improve their health and providing them with access to improved care and a larger network, that we'll see better claims experience. But yes, if everything stayed exactly the same loss ratio wise, that would be a new month of premium that we're not paying this year.
Well, despite what may have sounded like a negative comment, I just want everybody to understand what the financial situation is. I think this is the best presentation plan that I have seen in the 13 and a quarter years that I've been on council. I'd like to thank Dwight for what you and your guys have done. And I'd like to thank you, Ms. Starkey, for what you guys have done. I think it's outstanding. It's a great savings for the city. One of my heads up question was asking how much it is for the employees. It's smaller, but there is actually a savings for the employee in overall. And that's on the Humana program. But if you consider what you pointed out of the lower rates on the life insurance and the other things, this is very beneficial to the employees and their ability to choose providers that are more convenient. Your analysis of the overlap with where the people lived, I think outstanding. So I really congratulate you guys on a really good job.
I had a couple of questions.
Let's go ahead, Councilman Gay.
I just want to make sure I'm following. So is Kaiser an option or not?
No, Kaiser will no longer be an option effective July 1st.
Okay, so just to does the programs work together to get our medical records and all that from Kaiser for those people who've been under Kaiser for years? How does that work to get over to, or do we take that responsibility when we change over?
Yeah, so typically the physicians will request that. I will ask if there's any way to try to automate any part of that process as employees change over to a non-Kaiser physician.
And Humana is an HMO, correct? Or is it a PPO?
There's an HMO and a POS option. There's two options.
So the one that's more comparable to what we're paying at Kaiser is to what, HMO?
The HMO, yeah, is the most comparable to the plan that majority of your employees are on with Kaiser, but it is a much expanded network. It's not just the Kaiser facilities with Humana.
Right.
So Humana is in other words, you can go to whatever medical provider you choose. You don't have to have a referral into that. You can just go anywhere on their plan.
Correct. There's no referral required to see a specialist. So they call that open access, where you can go straight to your specialist. They do need to be an in-network provider, but as we indicated, it's a very large network, and the HMO in Metro Atlanta is basically the same network as a PPO plan.
Okay. So my final comment, so other than having a option, which is what I guess the gist of this was, having an option, the second year, the 290, we really don't save in terms of our actual cost. It's just now that we have an option. Is that what it is? We have a cheaper option.
No, you'll still have a savings. So, you know, to Councilman Clay's point, if everything stayed the same, then we've got this additional month of premium that we would pay, but it's still a reduction over your current cost of $287,000. So even with that additional month of premium, it's still $287,000 less than your Kaiser premiums.
And the 280,000 included 140,000 that you said we saved from changing brokers.
Yes, part of that is the commission reduction.
And one final question. There will be no additional costs to your company, NFP, for any other services whatsoever?
No. And so Dr. Baker and I have discussed if there are any lagging commissions that come in, we will provide full accounting of any commissions and until they're removed, and reduce your fee by any commissions.
If you have some commissions, you'll get paid, but then you reduce your cost to us by
Absolutely.
those commissions.
So
All right.
our cost will be no more than $80,000.
All right, thank you.
Ms. Starkey, one, I have to say that this is, I'm going to second Councilman Clay's comments in regard to the overall analysis. Very impressed with what you and your team did on that. And just that this is not only a great savings for the city, and I understand that we'll see an increase if everything stays the same next year. We've talked about that a number of times, but not only a savings to the city, but I really do feel like this is the right thing by our employees, that we are doing the right thing by people. And when you've got both of those things going on, that's a real win. So I appreciate you and Dr. Baker, and like I said, your whole team for the work that you've done on this. For the employees, in terms of the types of coverage or the types of services that are covered, where will they be able to learn more about that and have some explanation before they sign up for their plan?
We'll have 2 days of on-site educational meetings. So we'll roll out a schedule for that, and we'll have different schedules so that we're available for different shifts of employees. And then we'll also have the on-site enrollment counselors that can answer individual specific questions. It may be regarding different treatments or providers that an employee or their family utilizes. So those counselors can answer those specific questions. And then they're also able to contact our service center if they're not able to go on site or to sit with a counselor. Our service center will provide the same level of consultation and assistance in making their selections and enrolling in the benefits.
All right. Any other questions? Here, I know this is a little bit unusual, but because this is a fairly significant decision, would the body object if any of the department heads had any questions about this?
Not at all.
All right. If there's any department heads who have any questions about the plan, go ahead and raise your hand and we'll acknowledge you. Anyone? All right. Going once, going twice. Any of our department heads? All right. Ms. Starkey.
I move to approve.
All right. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilman Taylor. All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right. It passes unanimously. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Appreciate
Thank you
your
very
work.
much. Good presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tammy.
All right. Item 9A, consideration of an action on a request for approval of an indoor smoking ordinance. Who's heading this one up?
I'm gonna take this one, Mayor.
All right, Ms. Washington, hello again.
So I know everybody's seen this a couple times. I did get a couple comments from Councilman Clay earlier today. So we can, if everyone agrees, one was to add a definition for vaping specifically, and then to also add in, we do define a private club in the alcohol ordinance, but to also go ahead and add that definition into this ordinance as well, so that they're both in here. And those are the only changes, unless you guys have other changes that you'd like to make, if you're okay with those changes. And
Ms.
yeah,
Moore,
and any questions?
I think you are displaying your emails. I'm not sure you intend to do that. Unless you did intend to do that, I'm not really sure. Does anyone have any questions for Ms. Washington?
I'm good.
I had one question. Back at page 250, line 121, it says such establishments must have designated area for smoking. And it says, if that designated smoking area is an enclosed area, then the enclosed area must have separate ventilation. What if it's not an enclosed area?
So you'll see the next line there, if you keep going, it says if the designated
outside, but the first part referred to being inside. So I was assuming.
Right. So that was a designation we talked about at the last meeting, where if it is outside, it does not need the separate ventilation system. But if it is an enclosed area, so, and we say enclosed too, if it's a porch area that they close in for the winter or something like that, that still needs to have that separate ventilation system. So that's going to have to pull in, and basically what those are they're just like big fans that pull the air out, right? And
I know what they are, but it just kind of read funny to me. I was reading it said must have a designated area for smoking. If that designated area is an enclosed area, then the enclosed area must have ventilation. But what if it's not? It just says if. So
I had the same issue, and I didn't bring it up, but I thought it was referred to elsewhere in the document that inside it had to be an enclosed area unless they were over, if they had people in there under 21. And is this just for, this section is just for people over 21? Is that it? Is that why it?
So
it's assumed
everything is always over 21.
Everything's always over 21. So if you enclose it, and if you're over 21, it's okay for everybody to breathe the smoke. So you don't have to have an enclosed area. Correct?
No. So it will always be over 21. And the enclosed area is just, they have to have the separate ventilation if that area is inside.
Right. But
enclosed.
if you're over 21, you don't have to have an enclosed area. Is that what you're saying? If you're over 21, you can have a restaurant and you can say this northwest corner of the restaurant is the designated smoking area. And it's okay. It doesn't have to be enclosed. And it's okay because everybody in there is over 21. So
Well,
it's okay. Is that right?
If they do that, if they choose for their designated smoking area to not be like a separate enclosed space, then they'll have to have that ventilation system for the entire restaurant.
Right.
So
they-
it just
but
depends
if
on
they
what their
enclose
choice
it-
is.
If they enclose it, then they've got to have a separate ventilation system.
Right. They will have to have that ventilation system they don't necessarily have to have it for the entire restaurant, but they will have to have it for that space that they choose to enclose.
Right.
So it depends on what their business model is. And the reason that it's written like that, this is from City of Atlanta, is because we've read about some of those specific cigar bars that have like those specific smoking rooms. So we wanted to write that in so that so that we can accommodate those choices.
So to answer Councilman Allen's question, the reason it doesn't have to be enclosed, even though it's designated as a smoking area, is because it's a restaurant that's over 21.
Right. So you can be a restaurant over 21 or an establishment that allows smoking that's over 21 that they can smoke in there, wherever that may be. But if they choose to do that, that they have to have those ventilation fans to pull the smoke out.
And why don't we just say designated smoking areas, enclosed area, just that they have to have the ventilation system. I guess what confuses me is says if that designated smoking area. It makes it sound like there's 2 different smoking areas.
Yeah, it could be worded better.
I guess that's what I'm saying. I understand.
It could be worded better. I don't think it's wrong. So I didn't flag it, but I agree with you. It could be worded better.
So Tom, Dick, and Hanks, for instance, they've got a nice patio over there. They can't smoke on that patio. Is that what I'm reading?
Right, that's correct. They would have to have it they would have to enclose that. If they wanted to smoke on that patio for some reason, they would have to enclose it and separate ventilate it.
So we're stopping what they were already doing.
That doesn't sound right.
I don't know if maybe I'm thinking of the wrong space.
No, but they've already been smoking
outside.
I mean, when it was originally when it was opened up as the first round of barbecue. Yep.
Barbecue place.
Yeah. I mean, there was a great deal of cigar smoking on that patio.
Mm-hmm.
So we're now saying that can't be a thing.
Sorry, no, we're not saying. No, we're not saying that. If it's outside, it doesn't have to have the separate ventilation system. That's why that is written that way. When it's written the enclosed, that if the designated area for smoking is enclosed, then they have to have the separate ventilation system from the main ventilation system of.
But it says smoking and vaping is prohibited in bars and restaurants, including outdoor seating or serving areas, except as otherwise specifically authorized in this article. Where does it specifically authorize outdoor?
So it should say somewhere. If the.
I thought as a body, we kind of said, if you're doing it outside, we don't really.
It does say there if the designated area is outdoors, then it must be separate and distinct, and access must be restricted according to the smoking exemptions in this code. And basically what that's saying is it has to be 21 and up.
Where
so
21 and up on the patio. Is that what you're saying?
If they're going to smoke out there.
Okay, where is that? I'm sorry. Can you give me
So
that line?
Is line 125.
Okay.
And 126 on page.
But that's an establishment authorized to serve alcohol for consumption and generates 20% or $250,000 or more of their annual gross revenue from the sale of tobacco products. So that wouldn't apply to a barbecue spot.
Okay, I'm not sure. I can.
I think we need to take it back and rework it a little bit. I'm not sure we're
So
quite ready.
what's the guidance?
I don't think that we were, I thought that I heard from the body, and correct me if I'm wrong, gentlemen, that if an establishment wanted to have a patio where there was a area where folks were smoking a hookah or smoking cigars, that we weren't really all that concerned about that. It was more of the indoor stuff and making sure that if it was happening indoors, it was set off and the access was for folks who are 21 and up.
Right. If it was indoors, then either the entire indoors had to be 21 or over with proper ventilation, or you had to have, and within that you could have a designated area,
right?
But it didn't have to be enclosed. If you wanted to enclose it, you could enclose it and have a separate ventilation. If you had a restaurant that wasn't over 21, you could have an area within the restaurant that was enclosed, that was for smoking, and it was designated for that. The name of the game was to keep the smoke away for people under 21. That's the way I understood it.
But I don't think we were looking to limit the outdoor activity. I didn't get that impression from the conversation.
No,
I didn't either.
Okay. All right. So let's take this back, and is there a motion to
move to defer to the next meeting?
All right. Is there a second?
not second.
Thank you, Councilman Allen. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen. I think I heard 4 ayes there. That passes unanimously. Item 9B, consideration of an action on a request for approval of an intergovernmental agreement for the provisions of the 2021 election services with the Fulton County Board of Elections and Registration. Any questions on this one?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Is there second? Thank you, Councilman Clay. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Any abstentions? Any objections? I mean, I didn't hear any of those. It's all unanimous. Thank you, gentlemen. All right. Any new business? It doesn't look like we've got any. So we're moving on to the city attorney's report.
Nothing this evening, Madam Mayor.
All righty. Thank you. 12, city manager's report. Ms. Miller?
Good evening, everyone. I want to thank the department heads and the staff. They're working real hard to make College Park great. So I just want to thank them. And also I want to mention on May 11th at 6 p.m., we're doing Chat with the Chief. It would be live on Facebook, and it would be held in the auditorium if you would like to show up in person. So more information will follow. Thank you.
What's that date?
May 11th at 6 p.m.
May
Is that right?
At 6 p.m.
And that is
what's the event?
It's called Chat with the Chief.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've got that on my calendar.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. We've got the report of Mayor and Council, I believe. Isn't that the next one? A bated breath here, Ms. Moore. That's right. All right. Councilman Clay?
Okay, well, let me start with the easy one first. A week ago Saturday, not last Saturday, but the week before, I got my mail delivery probably about 8:30 at night, went rushing out, and the poor mailman was trying to stuff 34 pieces of mail into my box. Now, in that preceding week, I had at least one day, maybe two, that I didn't get any mail at all. And one day that I got one large ad postcard. So if you're on the even side of the street, on the west side of the tracks, you lose. I think my neighbors probably got on the east side, on the north side of the street, or the odd side of the street. I think they did probably okay. But those of us who are on the return to the corral, the post office, those of us who are at the end of the line, just don't get our mail sometimes. I'm just repeating that for public record. Okay. That was the easy one. The next one is, I'd like to respond to Ms. Kathy McQueen. I think she read a lot into my comments from the previous situation meeting about the basketball court. But let me just try to set the details straight. I had to work very hard to get that basketball court. I had to overcome the objection of my fellow councilmen. Not all of them, maybe, but enough of them to invalidate a vote. And my 3 councilmen were African Americans. The 3 councilmen gave me negative comments about why we shouldn't have a basketball court anywhere in the city as a recreational facility. So those comments came from African Americans. So if you are implying or inferring that these are my personal opinions, I was given these opinions and actually had to work against them. In order to get council to approve, I had to get agreement on restrictions. And I did finally. We agreed on 14. Somehow it got changed to 16, which I was okay with. And I got complaints. I got a lot of complaints from people in the housing authority. And I actually got, and I think probably 99% of the people in the housing authority are African American. So it's fair to say I got a number of complaints from African Americans, but I actually got some complaints from Caucasians. So I just more than happy. I have Zoom meetings on Friday morning. I'd be more than happy to have a Zoom meeting with Ms. McQueen to talk about it. I know she was passionate about this. And personally, I think if I had it to do over, I would not have pushed so hard to get a basketball court in the city. I thought it would be a good thing for the kids. And I thought it was in a safe area where there was a lot of traffic with people going back and forth to the police department. And we could control the things that my fellow councilmen were concerned about in the city. So, guys, it ain't coming from me. It's coming from people who had a lot of historical beliefs, and they ain't Caucasian like me. So it came across to me, and maybe I'm being sensitive, but it came across to me in the public comments that this was a racial implication, and well, it just wasn't. So that's all I have to say about that. The last thing, and I apologize for this, I would like to go back into executive session for a personnel issue that I stupidly forgot to bring up in the previous executive session. And I think it's timely that we discuss it tonight rather than pushing it off to the next council meeting. And I hope council will bear with that and be willing to go back and do that. And that's the end of my report.
All right. Councilman Taylor?
I don't have anything.
All right. Councilman Allen?
I just like to start off with thanks to the police for what they did this past weekend. We have the best workers that I can imagine. The fire department helping out South Fulton, Public Works and Utility with the weather we've had, being out on the street, picking up trash. I just can't say enough about how good our workers are. I'd like to thank Artie for sitting in as the city manager, doing a good job. And I appreciate you sitting in. So I just like to say that. I had a question. I don't know when we'll be able to meet in chambers again. I don't know if anybody has looked at that, but I'd like to look and see when we will be meeting in chambers again. And last of all, I just like next Monday is Mother's Day, and I'd like to wish all the mothers a happy Mother's Day. And that's all I've got.
All right. Thank you, Councilman Allen. Councilman Gay?
I only have a few things. First of all, I too want to echo on the great work that the staff has done. The storm last week was a lot of trees were down. And I'd like to thank Power, particularly Power, because they came out and they got most of the power, at least I'm speaking for Ward 4, from what I saw, restored. We did have one incident, not complaining, but just to improve on the process. We had one incident that a resident was calling into the 761-3131, a non-emergency police number that we've had since I've been on council. But in this particular instance, they had a shift change, but the message didn't get communicated to Power. And as a result, the gentleman was on a CPAP, whatever that is, I'm not sure. But they asked me, should they get a hotel? This was like 24 hours later. When we called Power, they came and fixed it immediately. So I would like for us to look at some IT template or something that can connect the non-emergency number to Power so that we don't miss any outages. The second thing is that we continue to have illegal activity on Jesse A. Dent and Karen. I've sent emails to police, and I know they're aware of it, but I'm like to make another appeal this evening that it's just unacceptable to have this type of activity in such an established community. And there may be some best practices. I don't know what those are. I do think that we should work more with City of South Fulton to curb where that traffic is coming from. But I really, really, really need police and staff help on that issue of Jesse A. Dent and Karen. And I think that's all I have for this evening.
All right. Thank you, Councilman Gay. All right. I wanted to echo the sentiments. The College Park Police Department went above and beyond when other agencies had decided that a missing suspect who had escaped the custody of other law enforcement thought that he had left the area. Our officers continued to search for that suspect and never gave it up until they found him, making sure that our community was safe and could rest easy. I am in their debt and appreciate all the hard work that they have put in that day and every day, because it is certainly a job that is exceedingly difficult, especially with limited resources. And so to that end, I know that we are talking about limited resources, but Chief, I've gotten some feedback from folks about activity that's probably happening, and folks aren't really sure. They're hearing evidence. They don't think it's fireworks. They think it's gunfire on the somewhere either in College Park or East Point. Not entirely sure, but is there an opportunity to work with East Point or coordinate some patrols to try to pinpoint some of that activity?
Chief, you're muted.
Nope, still muted.
Let's see if I can help him here.
There we go.
Okay. I'm new to Zoom, so please bear with me. Yes, we're aware of them. And as a matter of fact, we were getting ready to address, to send something out to the community. We've had almost 40 calls in that area since the first of the year on gunfire. So we know it's gunfire, it's not fireworks. And we're going to be in touch with East Point and working with them. And we do have some strategies that I'd rather not discuss out in the open. But we will be sending something out to the community, letting them know that we're aware of it and seeking their information, because the more accurately they report things to us, it gives us a better chance to do that data-driven approach. And East Point's receptive. We've worked with them in the past, and I know what area you're talking about because of the complaints that we've received.
Understood. And I know that there is a tendency for folks to want to get some feedback from other neighbors about, did you hear this? Did you hear that? Before you go to social media about it, call the police. Let them know where you're hearing things. Let them know if you see things. If you see a car speeding up the street after, coming from that direction, call the police. You can wait on the social media aspect of it, but let them know as soon as possible. If you've got my number, call the police first. Then you can reach out to me. Please, that's fine, but let the police know first so they can take that information and use it as close to the incident as possible.
Yes, and please don't assume that someone else has called. At times we do that. And even if they don't want to call, if they can document the time and the area, at times it's hard to pinpoint the exact area. We're going to be sending out some informational numbers that they can email our staff with, because the more data we have, the better we are at targeting the problem.
All right. Appreciate it, Chief. Thank you so much. I want to thank the Main Street Association, Grace McPhillips. Is it Grace McPhillips Lunsford? Excuse me. Renee Coakley, the entire Main Street board. Rekindle was amazing this weekend. It was just this nexus of activity in our city, combined with a plant sale, a yard sale, and amazing weather. We just had such a great event and a great weekend. And it's just a testament to everything that we can do in this city because we've got such a great community. And I wanted to thank everybody who worked so hard to make it happen. And I'm going to brag on us one more time, because 50,000 vaccines is a really big deal. And that is a huge, huge contribution to the health and safety of this community. And again, I'm going to thank Chief Wade Elmore, Andrea Smalls, the entire GICC team for working with Fulton County, because this doesn't happen without you. And so often folks don't see your faces, don't know your names, but know that they are working. You guys are working so hard for our citizens and everyone throughout the area. So deeply grateful for all of your efforts as well. So at this point, typically we would approve the minutes, but I understand that Councilman Clay, you wanted to make a motion to return to executive session to address personnel. Is that correct? Is that a motion?
Correct. Yes, I so moved.
All right. Is there a second? All right. Thank you, Councilman Allen. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, gentlemen, we'll head on over and we will return shortly. Thank you.